The MixRack 64 channels by 32 MixBus audio architecture is fully configurable by the user. To access the MixRack audio configuration, press the MixRack setup key below the touchscreen. The main screen is what we call a radar view, as it provides an overview of the current system configuration. Tabs in the Input Channels view let you access all 64 input channels and the FX short returns. Input sources are displayed on each channel. RA1 means MixRack Slot A Channel 1. 48V phantom power status, insert status, the user-defined name, the DSP channel number, mute status and fader level are also shown. Direct output routing shows the output sockets associated with each channel. Tabs in the Mix Channel view let you view the current status of the 32 mix buses and the 8 internal FX buses. External input sources are displayed. Not as means not assigned. SA1 means Surface Slot A Socket 1. The type of mix insert status, the user-defined name, mix number sequence, mute status and fader level are also shown. The background color indicates mono or stereo mixes. Mix output routing shows the output sockets associated with the mix outputs. If the output is routed to more than one socket, touch that part of the screen to toggle the other sockets assigned. The Mixer Config page lets you change the mono stereo configuration of the input channels and the architecture of the mix buses. The 32 mix buses may be configured into any combination of mono or stereo groups, AUXes, main mix and matrix. For example, you may want to set the system up for front of house operation one day and dedicated monitor the next. The front of house configuration can include groups, AUXes, up to 4-way main mix and matrix feeds. The monitor configuration may comprise mostly mono and stereo AUXes and no main mix or matrix. Both of these applications can be easily configured and stored. It is not intended that the MixRack configuration is changed on the fly during a sound check or performance, as it makes big changes to the DSP architecture of the system and resets the mix parameters. It can take up to 2 minutes to complete. iLive has plenty of buses, so you should be able to configure enough of your standard setup to satisfy your most demanding application without the need to reconfigure partway through. If you want to keep your current settings, you should save all parameters to a scene memory first before changing the configuration. Recall this scene to restore the parameters after the configuration change. The current DSP mix bus architecture is displayed. Touch boxes to change the number of each type of mono and stereo mix, the type of main mix, and whether to provide processing for the engineer's wedge or IEM monitor outputs. Excluding the matrix, up to 30 buses may be configured as mono or stereo groups, AUXes, FX and main mix. The remaining 2 buses are allocated to the system PAFL monitor. Up to 32 mix outputs may be configured. These are the masses that provide full processing and can be patched to the physical output sockets, including groups, AUXes, main mix and matrix, but not including the internal FX. For monitor mixing applications, you can allocate output processing to the engineer's monitor outputs. Touch Apply to accept the changes you have made. A pop-up box appears to let you confirm or escape from the changes. iLive features a choice of many different configurations of main mix, from mono to 4-way, and with different types of image control. Due to the DSP architecture, the buses are always allocated in pairs. Therefore, a main mono mix uses 2 buses. A 3-way LCR mix uses 4 buses. You can have no main mix if the system is configured as a dedicated monitor console, single bus mono, or LR traditional stereo. LR sub has 3 master faders and a dedicated channel imaging control for the sub level. LRM provides a convenient third output for driving a mono fill speaker. LCR is the traditional 3-way left center right panning, where the pan control moves the signal from left through center to right speakers. LCR sub is a 4-way main mix with traditional 3-way LCR panning and dedicated subfeed. LCR-M has a mono feed instead. LCR Plus is a 3-way LCR main mix providing 2 image controls. Pan to position the signal between the L and R speakers, and blend to position the signal between the LR speakers and center. Radio LRM is a special case. Left, right and mono mix, where the function of the mix keys on the channel strips act only as mix on or off switches for radio broadcast applications. All mixes are switched on-off by the mix key, ensuring unwanted channels are removed from the main mix and clean feed or effects mixes too. The 64 input channels may be configured as mono or stereo, emulating a traditional analog console where a certain number of stereo channels are provided. Stereo channels are highlighted in green. Touch the buttons to change the configuration. Touch Apply to accept the changes. A pop-up box lets you confirm the reconfiguration. This is intended for permanently configuring some channels as stereo inputs for an application. Use the ganging function for on-the-fly linking of channels while mixing live. You can save your configuration and system setup as a show memory to use again in the future. This can be transferred between iLive system or archived to your PC via a USB memory key. The Mixer Preferences page lets you set the source to the input channel direct outputs globally, the global input channel preamp setting and the PEQ frequency ranges. When the follow fader or follow mute options are on, the signal follows the fader level and/or the mute status, although the signal source is still determined by the drop-down menu settings. The global input channel preamp option can be used to set all inputs to use either preamp or trim controls on the channel strip. This is useful to flip between sound check using preamps and show using trims when working with a front of house monitor dual system. The PEQ 20Hz to 20 kHz range option allows the ranges of each band on the parametric equalizers to be set as full range. The option can be set for all input channels and all mixes. The Audio Sync tab presents the settings for the audio system clock source. If the mix rack is a slave getting its channel audio via port B from a master iLive, then set the source to mix rack port B. If the source is incorrectly set, you may get spurious meter readings and glitch noises. The Port AB Setup tab displays the status and options available for the modules fitted into the mix rack slots, such as the EtherSound clock configuration, ACE redundancy or MADI auxiliary, BNC behavior and channel assignments. The Advanced button gives a pop-up window that lists key network parameters for the link. The Quick Input Source Setup tab allows for quick changeover between local physical input channel sources and digital audio network input channel sources for a range of inputs. This helps when setting up consoles and switching between single system operation and link system operation, or between normal operation and virtual soundcheck. The Expanders tab allows assigning each connected expander XLR outputs to a block of 8 channels within the Port B ACE output. The Signal Generator page provides a comprehensive tone noise generator which can be used for checking and setting up the system. The settings are restored on power up and stored in the system show memories. Choose the generator's signal source type, touch the level box and use the screen encoder to adjust the output level. Then route the generator to a group, aux, matrix and main mixes by touching the required buttons. The signal is routed to the mix bus and is therefore affected by the mixmaster processing and fader. We recommend that you turn the level down and turn off all the generator mix assignments after you have finished using the generator.